Okay, welcome to Evadyne with Company, Talk Worth Listening to. I am Evadyne. This topic is going to be on health and wealth. So, healthier and wealthier with alternatives. What does that mean? I don't like the word alternative when it comes to health because that usually indicates that natural is alternative, when, in my belief, natural is the original. The alternative is what's now being created. Mm-hmm. However, moving into the conversation, we want to use alternative methods to pharmaceuticals. So I'll let them win on that. How's that? So from head to toe, there are a lot of health issues going on with people. And I call it above the chin when medical coverage feels that dental and vision and hearing are all extra. Like you can live without being connected to above your chin. So tell me, what do you feel and what are your resources for healthier living, healthier choices, and choices that could lead to better wellness, if you would?
Well, this is Adrian again, and since I've become part of this podcast, I've changed my whole thought process of health, of good health. You know, I grew up I was a preemie, and I've always had a lot of medical problems growing up. And I think I've seen every kind of specialist there is to see. But as an adult, things have changed, and I have changed. And since being part of this podcast, I learned a lot of natural things, and I've tried a lot of natural things, and it has worked. And a lot of the medication, there was one time when I was in my 20s when they being the medical doctors, had me on 13 different medications. And one day I looked at that. I don't know what made me take a look at that. And I went to my doctor. I said, why am I on all these things? What are they for? And she said, oh, this is for this, and this is to counteract the side effects. And this is to counteract the side effects of this. And you take this, and then you take aspirin just because it's good for you. And then you take this and that. And I went from 13 medications to being on 5. Because I'm like, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm not taking that anymore. And I love the whole concept of natural healing. So I'm still growing in that part.
Well, congratulations to you and listening to that inner self.
Okay, let me add, when I started this, and I'm sure I don't say this out loud much because I don't like to hear myself say it, I was almost 500 pounds. I've lost 230 pounds in the past year and a half, changing my diet and changing what I do.
Okay, so I need to know why you don't like hearing that process of self-improvement.
I didn't say I don't like hearing it.
That's what I thought you said you don't like. You don't like saying it.
No, I didn't like hearing how much I weighed.
Oh, I know what you meant. You don't like hearing that you weighed 500, but I believe the end of that is why you should say it loud and say it clear. That is a great accomplishment. And again, from listening to your inner self and realizing that's not me. This is not me. Anymore. Something needs to be. So, listen, somebody would call that a commercial. We see and hear those commercials all the time. A person so overweight and then taking control. Usually the commercials are about, something to swallow, but it's a great accomplishment, and it's a great testimony. I'm hoping that you are considering I'm not going to say journalizing it, but, creating your own story on video or on, of course, Grown Folk Talking. Call in and record and talk to yourself and tell your whole story. So I had asked earlier, do you record your program, Adrienne?
I do, but I don't know how to take it off. So I think I asked Carol one time just to delete everything because I don't know. I know they need space, and I don't know how to do it. I tell people I'm not technologically inclined, but I'm more like technologically retarded. I need to learn how to do these things. I know Leon have tried, but he gave me an assignment, erase everything and let's start all over. I'm still at the erase everything mode.
Okay, so just as a side note, Carol, if they are still there, I can help you take them off. And Adrienne, if you want them, I'll find a way to put them all together so you can access them, if that's okay. Because I could imagine that they have been very good talks. Everything I've listened to on this network, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Grown Folk Talking. Express yourself. It is carried over huddle.team. I'm not sure how you're listening or why you're listening, but I can guarantee that if you download the app, huddle.team, and enter meeting ID, Grown Folk, one word, that you will not be disappointed. You may also call in on 520-525-8633 at any time. If you plug in and a show is going on, stay quiet. But if you plug in and you get the show lineup, just say, wow, and make a note and come back and visit. Thank you. Okay. So I can help you. I can help you work on that. Now this I've never been so engaged in technology, but every time I call in and there's something being said and something going on in terms of a show, it excites me. And I just hope that everyone records and takes it off so that they have it, so it's archived. And I guess when the websites go up, then each show can be listed under the show, each episode can be listed under the show title. But we're going to move on. Thank you for your information again, Adrienne, and thank you for encouraging me to do what I had decided a week ago I was going to do, which is to get my my weight in order by juicing, leaving alone flesh. I know it hurts, but so I've started working on it. So you are an encouragement, and I'll keep you posted. Not Leon, but I'm only kidding. Okay, anyone else have a health and wellness testimony to share? Okay.
Well, mic check. I'll share.
I beat you to it, Miss Carol, but go ahead. I'll let
you. No,
you
didn't.
Okay.
This is Carol from the Pink Sofa, and I just came from a checkup. Good report. So I'm happy to say, blood pressure's good, weight is good, everything's good. And,
that's great.
Yeah, so I'm happy to say, and coming off of that Daniel fast, and I'm still conscious of the things that I'm eating, although I have, incorporated my poultry and fish back into my diet, but I'm still more maintaining the good healthy eating from that we did during the Daniel fast. I just had my black beans and rice and spinach, and so I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's great. And I looked at the Daniel fast when I plugged in and heard everyone was doing it, and it looks like it's the Mediterranean diet. It looks very similar to the Mediterranean diet.
Is it? I know it's more of a vegan diet. It's more of a vegan diet, and then there's also no bread, no meat. Well, of course, vegan, but also no bread and no sugar and no dairy. So
Okay.
I think on a Mediterranean diet, you would have breads and meats, right?
Not positive in my head right now, but we'll get that information. Well, I looked at it because it was like the peas and the greens and the fruits, and it was like more high protein with no meat, high protein, and it could have had fish. I think the Mediterranean diet might include fish, but it looked really interesting. But I'm glad you're still on track with it and that your reports were great, and we're going to let them stay that way, correct?
Oh, most definitely.
And have you been sipping pina colada a little bit?
No, I have not had any pina coladas. I had a glass of wine with my girlfriend over the weekend, my college buddy that I hadn't seen in years, and I did indulge in a glass of wine with her. And but all is good. All is good.
That's very good. And so when I speak about pina colada, in reality, it's not a bad thing because coconut is good for you and pineapple is good for you. So without any additives, not
the liquor you put in it.
without any additives, the pina colada is really a healthy choice. It's a healthy choice. Okay, Nance, you're up.
Well, thank you. Peace and blessings to the listening. Peace and blessings to the listening audience. And, that Mediterranean diet, because Gary Null talks about it all the time, is basically fish and a lot of vegetables and grains. You're right about that, all right? And shame on you, Miss Cal. How dare you get on this program and tell those stories? You told me a couple of days ago you slipped up somewhere. So how dare you not include that in your testimony?
Excuse me, wait a minute, because I had a couple of desserts. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, well, I don't know. You just said you told me you slipped up. I just assumed you knew what you did was bad.
Well, I had dessert at the repast after.
You have what?
Dessert.
What kind of dessert did you have, Miss Carol?
I had cherry cheesecake, if you don't mind.
I think we're getting off subject.
Excuse me. I know you're the lady who also said, I'm not eating meat no more. I'm on fish fast now. And then you said a couple of weeks ago you was eating meat. I said, oh, Miss Adrian got back to meat real quick. Well,
yeah,
I
did.
expect you to say that, Miss Adrian. Yeah. See how you guys.
So let me, excuse me
Wait
a
a minute.
second.
Wait a minute. It's my time. It's my
Hold
time.
on, Forrest.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. So what I will say is that when your base is in place, then those little things here and there will not hurt you when your base is in place. But we do want to move forward because this is a recorded session, and we'll have the after recording to catch up on the other stuff if we don't mind.
Oh, okay. Since you want to say that. And I hope nobody held that against me because I am an honest person when it comes to diet. I think Ms. Carol knows that. Ms. You know that. Now, I'd just like to say today, family, I started my day off with some lemon water with discipline. And I went from there. I had pine needle tea this morning. I just made a smoothie because everybody knows I love my smoothies. Now, let me tell you what I incorporated in my smoothie. I took some coconut water, organic coconut water, all right? And in that, I put some, it's a seed protein from the Soul Company. It's called Form. I put that in there. I chopped up 2 bananas. And I took some flaxseed, chia seed, and hemp seed and put in that, okay? And then I put some blueberries in with that, okay? And then I put some spirulina and some chlorella. And if family, you know anything about chlorella, it's the closest thing to our blood, okay? In fact, Dr. Alim Muhammad said one of the things that will help offset the radiation with the 5G is chlorella and spirulina, which spirulina has 8 essential amino acids, more protein than a piece of steak. So I swirl that around, okay? And sometimes you can put some buffer C in with that, powder, and swirl that around, and voila, I feel energized because after we finish with the beignet, I'm going to do my push-ups with Leon and my sit-ups and my leg squats and get my little exercise in a day. Thank you for sharing, and I just hope, Sister Evadyne, that Miss Carol doesn't hold that against me because she knows she's my shero. She knows I love her, but we all have to be honest up here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Forrest, can you please tell us, can you please tell us the benefits of lemon water first thing in the morning?
Yes, ma'am. Well, it alkalizes. Everybody knows that lemons and anything citrus is acidic, but the thing is, they say that once it goes to your body, it's what you want for your body to absorb and pass through. It goes in acidic, but it comes out alkaline. It alkalizes your blood, from what I understand, and it's done a great job for me because I feel alkaline right now. I feel great. I wish everybody was in a Kumbaya moment together, and we could all get together and do exercise.
Yeah. Hi, we're one second, please. So, alkalinity increases the oxygen level in your body, and diseases and illnesses have a hard time surviving in a high alkaline environment.
Yes.
So the chlorella is good, the parsley is good, and also kelp is good for removing radiation from your body. And ironically, there's a lot of radiation that comes into our bodies when we have to go for certain diagnostic testing. They give you something to drink for MRIs and sometimes ultrasounds and CAT scans, and it has radiation in it. And it's so that the scan can highlight what it's looking for in your body. So it's very, very important that if that happens, that you do your best to clean that product out of your system. Just try to get it out. And including when you go for the colonoscopy and they give you the PrEP, it's high in phosphate, which can cause kidney failure, amongst other things. And so good practices will take your blood to test your BUN and creatinine levels. But let me say it this way. When you get your lab work and you show it to medical professionals or they look at the results of your lab work, the results they give you in terms of, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is within range. Well, the medical industry range differs from naturopathic ranges. The medical industry, their ranges are so either they, have to start doing something for you or they don't. However, naturopathic readings will show you with those same results where you may be deficient or where you may be at an increased rate, different from the medical guidelines. So Invite Health, INVITE Health, HEALTH, is a company that I really, really love. And you could always email to jhickey@invitehealth.com, your lab work. They make supplements. They have supplements, very pure, very good. They have great knowledge. InviteHealth.com, podcasts on most everything from head to toe. And whether you use their products or not, you're getting education and information overboard. But you can email jhickey, your lab work. And I always suggest when I refer people there, which goes to my crazy business side, but they are an affiliate with me, but I always refer people to go to the store or call them directly so that they could get a review of really what's going on in their bodies. And I recommend that they take their lab work from the last 3 years, because I can see you today and you may be fine, but that fine could be temporary. So if they look at lab work over a 3-year period, then they have an opportunity to look at progression. and hopefully everything is good. But if not, at least, it can be addressed. Okay. Thank you, Nance. And I'm sorry.
Sister Bonnie, I want to say one more thing. Just to piggyback off that last statement you made, I want everybody to hear what you just said. You said you could be fine one day, and like I said, the ultimate judge we all know is the Most High. What I'm saying is sometimes people, by what they put in their mouth, can push themselves over the edge. And anytime I get here, I'm just saying everybody can't be like the next person. I understand that, and I'm not being judgmental because everybody knows I try to be a motivator. But what I'm saying is if I can get the discipline, so can you. If you could get the discipline to do a lot of different things, you understand what I'm saying, in your life, I think one of the most things you should be cognizant of is what you put in your mouth. And what I'm saying is, and if I'm wrong, Sister Bonnie, correct me, but through my research, they say that your cells in your body have a memory. And what I'm saying is, all the years when you think, okay, well, a little moderation here and there, just me personally, I'm saying, because another person's going to do what they want to do. You don't cheat, all right? The older you get, you keep it clean, point blank, period, because you're not going to die by saying, oh, well, no, it's just an accumulation of things that I believe and what research has shown, okay? So when you eat certain things, because Brother Rashad, and we've had other people come on this network and say about how addictive sugar is. It's like cocaine. So when you tasting something, just get something. If you like whatever, like a cake or something, just let it have good ingredients in it. That's all I'm saying. You can't say, well, all right with this. And then we all know that sugar can feed cancer. So why would you want to put the processed sugar in your body? And listen, I love my people up here. I just want them to get the discipline to say, no, push it away. Just because it's there don't mean you got to have it. Because I'm around a lot of stuff like that, too. People say, have some. I said, no, thank you. Give me some water or a salad. I just wanted to finish with that. Thank you, Sister Evadyne.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And as you mentioned, the cell regeneration, they say intermittent fasting increases cell regeneration, reducing triglycerides, exercise boosts stem cell activity, as you said, Nance, reducing sugar consumption, and supporting healthy inflammation pathways. It's a lot of diseases and illnesses are caused by inflammation. But I'm going to take a pause for a minute. There's a gentleman who came on. Please speak now. I'm not sure who you are. Do we know who that was? Someone had come on while Nance was speaking. Okay. Well, if you come back, please let us know that you've returned. So your liver regenerates, I believe, every 90 days, isn't it? I think it's every 90 days. Go ahead. I'm listening. I thought someone was going to say something. Okay. And I think that comes off. I'm sorry?
I said, this is Nabia. How are you?
I'm great, Nabia. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I thank you for your presentation. I just want to sort of confirm the fact when you were talking about Invite Health. Yeah, I do use their products for at least probably 10 or more years, so they're excellent products, and whatever you said about them is definitely on point. So I'm going to continue with them, and God bless you for all that you're sharing, okay? Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Yes, I received the wrong number phone call one day, and it turned out that we met at Invite about 6 years ago. And she was calling me from a nursing home. She lives in a nursing home now. And so when I was like, she called me twice. The second time I said, okay, how do you know me? Like, how do we know each other? Because wrong number one time is one thing. Wrong number twice, there's a reason, And it turned out we met in Invite Health about 6 years ago, but she's been with them for over 40 years, starting with Dr. Preston.
Yes.
And she has, and I believe she was in her 80s. She had every single one of her faculties. And she told me a story, which I put in my book, because she told me to put it in my book. I don't know how it fit, but she requested it and I did it. But she said it was a holiday. Yeah, well, hey, listen. She said it was a holiday. Her family was over. Then they offered This is when she was living at home. And they offered to help her clean up. She said, but her china was too fine to get broke. So she thought, you can go. I'm good. She'll take care of it. She said she did the dishes. She was in the bathroom, and all of a sudden she heard a thump. And she was like, okay, what was that? So she's thinking, what could have fallen anywhere, in the rest of the house. It turned out it was her. She had fallen. And she said when she arose, she had 2 boiled eggs on her forehead, but we attributed her success of survival to her genes and her wellness. That's something in common that a lot of us have, is where we want to stay as healthy as possible. And when we do what we do that does not reverse our process of wellness and health, then we can take credit for it. So that's why she's moved into a nursing home, because she kept falling. But she never broke a bone, The only injury were those 2 knots that went away. But it was so ironic. It was like an out-of-body experience, her hearing that and thinking it was in another part of the house. And we laughed, so I can chuckle, because she laughed.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, Evadyne Health products are wonderful. And later on, when I get to the Wealthier component, I've come across a company called Live Good. So I like network marketing when there's a product or service that has value. And I explain to people that network marketing is like McDonald's. One of them started, and now they're all over the world. And yes, they are brick and mortar, but it's the same thing. Or when you read a good book, like my book, Suicide is a Serious Killer, Let's End It Today, when you read a good book and you tell someone about it and they go get it, you have networked on behalf of that book. When it comes to the business side of it, and I have this available if you're interested as well, when you share the information and someone takes part and you can get a commission, well, that's network marketing business. But we all network. We all tell people about, look at Grown Folk Talking. Grown Folk Talking is growing. And it's because we're networking the information. We're networking something that we've come across that's good, and we don't mind sharing it. So Live Good was introduced to me about 2 weeks ago, and what I like about them is that they have some of the same products as Invite, but as an affiliate, we get them at half price. And then, of course, you can share. So that's why I said, okay, and I read the label. And like I mentioned, my grandson, when it comes to health and wellness, I'm 94% organic. Okay, Leon, I know I could be 100. Okay, Nance, I know I could be 125. But I am 94% organic. And I know that my base is in place. I know it's in place because I'm still here. Yes. But I have been health and wellness since I was a kid. From Dick Gregory's Bahamian Diet to subscribing to Prevention Magazine when I was like 10 or 11, to my father buying me the Vitamix because I asked for it, and thankfully financially he could. I've been health and wellness since I was a kid.
Great.
And that's why that same as you?
Yes. Yeah, I was raised on the farm for a certain part of my life, and then I would eat lemons or just, lemon and lemon juices and pomegranate, and they call it Chinese apple, all that. I just ate since I was a child, So I always was drawn to those, the fruit and vegetables because my parents had them freshly on the farm. But I don't know if I shared with you my story. I'm not going to go into it, but when I was fallen and was and stayed on the floor for 2.5 days, the doctor were amazed, but it was my reserve, that I had in my body, from just
that's right,
staying on point with my health and, my eating. And I was more so vegetarian, but I'm really leaning more towards becoming a vegan because I just eliminate some of the other things that I was consuming. And you just have you have a lot of food to choose from. But, changes sometime. It's like, okay, I gave up so much now, I have to give up all these other things. So I try to substitute now, yeah. And I was just grateful because being on the floor with no water, no food, and I had my essential oils, I prayed, and I worked on myself with Reiki. And that held me until my children came and rescued me, Yeah, so I had to be hospitalized. But, I had a ruptured blood vessel. Yeah.
Your base was in place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we can testify. But I'm going to look into this Live Good product, right? You said Live Good? That's the name of it?
Right, that's correct. Live Good. I can send you a link if you send me your email or your phone number. I can send you a link.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about that. It's so how do we say this? Your body, as Nance said, has a memory, but it takes a half a second for your body to lose memory. It takes a half a second for it to, you can be in a hospital for 2 days, nothing to do at all with your walking, and have to go through learning how to walk again. Because our body is one machine. Dr. Oz and two other physicians back in the 90s, they co-authored a book called You. It's a owner's manual for the human body. No one else has given us that. No one else. Dr. Oz is not new in what he's doing. And I was hoping he got elected because he would have been able or qualified to sit on wellness committees. They would have called it health, but they don't understand health because they don't understand prevention. However, he would have been qualified and to sit on those. And that could be the reason why he wasn't elected, because the industry had downplayed him so much about sharing valuable information that they know nothing of. That they know very little about. Medicine and nutrition are two different subjects, and I don't want anybody to be confused about it. Medicine and nutrition are two different subjects. Medical coverage is not health coverage. It's a medical coverage supporting the medical industry. Okay, my opinion, but I believe it's a fact. But the human body is the greatest machine ever created, and we need to learn how to take care of it so that it can take care of us as a Nabia. I mean, down for 2 days and back up, hey. That's a great testimony.
God was with me, I tell you. That was just a, awesome experience, and so much that I learned. You gave me so much vision through that experience, and I saw so much. It was another eye-opener, so it was very spiritual. I wasn't afraid. I just knew that this was something that I needed to, learn and benefit from it, and believe me, I'm back on track. So I told my doctor, he said, you was close to death. I said, yes, but God wasn't ready for me. So
hello,
I'm still here.
Hello. That's right. And just to ask, when your children found you, were you conscious?
Yes, I was conscious. Yeah, I was conscious.
Then I think you.
Go ahead.
Then I think your doctor might have been a little off, because if you were close to death, I think you would have been unconscious. You were with the Creator. You were what they say, one with one. You were with one with one, and you were taking care of self in a way, almost like a little retreat. Because you know what they say, right? If you don't take care of yourself, not that you were not, but if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take the break you need to take, if you keep running, God will slow you down. God will slow you down. And
clients that were very important, very needy, and they were pulling on me. They were, and I had to just stop it. But, sometimes God does it in His own way. So that's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
He slowed me down. So I'm listening.
What did we say? I don't know if you heard it yesterday, but I have this chant: halt, stop, take control of your life. Halt, stop, take control of your life. And it can start today. Whoever's listening, whoever's listening, it can absolutely start today. It's never too late. As long as you're breathing and thinking and living, it's never too late to try something new, to do something new. And Steve Harvey, so anyone listening who wants to also get their health in check, Steve Harvey had about maybe, time is flying, 5 years ago, he was doing this diet, and he had his staff look up what foods he could eat, not focus on what he couldn't eat. See, when you focus on what you have to give up, that's a harder task than looking. I mean, we have an array of foods. Even if you have to shop at a new supermarket, there's an array of food available to us. Look at what you can eat, because your blood type. Has anyone heard this? Your blood type determines the type of food you should eat?
Yes, I'm aware of that. I use that as well, the protocol, yes.
And that is so important. And people are surprised, but if you have a car, all cars don't take the same oil.
Hello. Amen on that.
So we are just as electrifying and well put together as a car or a vehicle, that we should have some separation as to what's good for us based on who we are. And that's important to know. Would anyone else like to share their health and wellness, their tip, where they get their products? And again, this is being recorded, so I am going to have this information connected to my YouTube or my website, both, so that as a resource you can come back and listen and write it down so that you can get those tips that can help. If not you, who else, Adrienne? If not you, then someone else. You see? We don't always get information that's for us. Sometimes we're getting information to deliver when the time is right. But I'll open the floor. Anyone else have us another story? What would you tell a young person who you don't know that they're facing a health challenge, but you can see their diet and know what it could lead to? What would be the best way to help direct them to eating better? Oh, that's so sweet. Did you hear that? Proper sleep is so important. If you do not get the rest you need, truly, and the real rest you need, your day could be so messed up, right?
Yeah. Right.
And when you sleep, you go into the deepest part of your sleep in the beginning. When you go deep. As deep as you're going to go, you go deep in the beginning. And then through your sleep, you're coming out of it on the different levels. That's why when you awake, you're ready. You're ready. You go deep, and then you work your way out. Oh, that's like planting seeds, right?
That makes sense.
Go ahead, Carol. Yeah. It's I used to, unfortunately, experience that when I was just going to sleep and somebody disturbed me. It was like, what? Because you were going the deepest, and they caught you. It's like an abruptness.
Yes.
But as you're sleeping and resting and getting to that point, then you're coming out of that sleep. You're coming out of that system. And I know there's different levels of sleep and different levels where you dream differently, and we'll talk about that. Who knows those ways? What is it called? REM? REM sleep is one level, right?
It's almost refreshing when you get a good sleep. If somebody wakes you up after your body has rested. But most times, for some reason, my wake-up is always more abrupt.
REM is the deep sleep. Yes, that's it. I'm kind of moving around.
Right.
Let me back
The rapid eye movement, they call it.
Yes. Sure.
So why are you waking up abruptly? Are you setting an alarm clock?
No, that's how I wake up. I always wake up like somebody's waking me up, but nobody's around. I think I have an inner alarm clock that says, "Get up." You're dreaming about something you shouldn't be dreaming about. I don't know. I just make up things.
But do you wake up rested?
No, that's how I know I'm waking up abruptly.
Well, so just for one side of the record, this could be the B side. I used to say that I wanted to pass in my sleep because I thought it would be peaceful. Well, until I was having a vicious fight in my sleep and woke up and my chest was beating heavily, I was like, okay, all for peaceful. So maybe your abruptness, no, really, right? Maybe your abruptness, thank God, is so that you aren't going deeper in your sleep than you need to be, you know?
I'll take that.
And you're very good. And a friend of mine doesn't sleep well, maybe 2 or 3 hours a night.
That's me.
But he drank a glass of water one night, and he slept 8 hours. He slept 8 hours. So I said, maybe you should do that every night.
Drink water right before you go to bed?
He drank a glass of water right before he went to bed. He just happened to. But when he woke up, it was the first time he had slept in 8 hours in probably 25 years. Because he usually sleeps 3 or 4 hours. Does anyone know why that would be possible? Okay.
I just sleeping. What is the question?
So drinking a glass of water before going to bed, it allowed him to sleep 8 hours, where he normally.
Well, from 10 to 4 a.m., the body is going through a process of healing. And so that water is probably helping with the sort of electricity that's going through there. It's probably helping to balance things out and moving, whatever it is that's in the body that needs to be balanced. So it's helping the healing process and doing that time factor. It's a spiritual thing, too, and I don't want to get into it on a deeper level. But when you go to sleep, your soul travels. It travels to the Creator. It makes a prostration. But when we dream, Satan gets in there. And a lot of times the body is on such a protective kind of mechanism, it won't let us remember the dream if the dream is not good. Sometimes we'll remember it, and sometimes it doesn't allow us to because it wasn't a good dream. And sometimes it's meaningless. So sometimes we'll wake up and, we don't realize, but there's a reason for that because maybe it wants you to forget whatever that was or it jolted you or whatever. Sleep is a process. It really is. And if you study it more, you'll see a lot of things that go into alpha, beta, theta, all of those area of a dream state means something and something is going on. So just study the process of sleep. And you'll see it. Right now, I have to get going. I can't. It's your show, so I don't want to go into it, and on another level. But just study it, and then we can talk about it at another time. Okay.
Well, let us know. Let us please mention your show and the time and the schedule.
Yes, it's on Saturday at 4 p.m. Okay. Yeah. So let us heal the world. So maybe one day I'll put that in my topic on sleep. If you think it's something I should do, unless you want to pick it up and just pull it up again and get into those levels of sleep. Okay, I've done it in the past, but right now, it's kind of a little lengthy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, we appreciate that information. So, like I say, food for thought is just as important as the food we put in our mouths. And when we give that information, it allows us to move forward and, as you say, to do our own research. I call myself a human appetizer. So I'm the table full of appetizers, and right behind me are the full courses. I give you a little bit. I don't know it all, I don't know it all. I do not profess to know it all. But I definitely give you enough that you can get an interest if you are and go get more.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
We were talking about sleep, and I guess it's because I dozed off. But I've always had poor sleeping habits. You know, I usually don't sleep more than like 3 hours in a night. And I wanted to ask, is it the time that makes the difference? Because I heard her say several times that you sleep your best between 10 and something. And I don't go to sleep at 10. I go to sleep a lot later.
Right.
And I sleep for a good, when I say good 3 hours, it means I know I was in a deep sleep. And then I wake up, you know, and I wake up almost startled, like somebody's waking me up, but, you know, I'm in the room by myself, you know. So I wonder if the time I fall asleep makes a big difference.
Yes, that does is a contributing factor too, and maybe I'll share that maybe on my podcast. But also, it's what you do prior to and your thoughts. Maybe something you're eating. You're disturbing your biological that clock that's built in the body system. Okay, and I think on my show, I think he was on last week when we talked about the watchers, the rhythm.
Yeah, I was
clock.
on it.
Okay, the rhythm clock tells you where the energy is. So obviously, and we develop habits because we are creatures of habits. So, maybe I'll just try to expound on it again on my podcast. But yes, it's probably the time to go to sleep, what you eat prior to, what your thoughts are. There's a lot of different factors, okay? And when you go into REM, you're not staying in it for a certain period of time because maybe their dream interference with your age, your digestive system is doing something, the energy system, the clock system, it's off. Circadian clock, if you want to look that up, circadian clock, that tells you a rest period, tells you of activity, focus period. It's a lot with the body. The body is a mechanism, as she's talking about. There's so many functioning and things that are going on, and we just need to study it more.
I'm tired listening to it.
You're tired?
You're listening to all the stuff that's going on. I'm like, that's why I don't rest.
Yeah, you can put on some soft music, some, meditative music. I have a lot of sleep music. The one that's on the YouTube, pull up the sleep. It'll take you into REM. It'll take you into those levels that you need to be doing other things. You have to train your mind to do what it needs to do. And those music are set up, to help you to go into the proper realm at that time. Then melatonin is coming into your system. And then neurotransmitters, you need that. The dark room, helps to build the melatonin. So you may not be getting enough melatonin because the hour you go to sleep, you have abrupt sleep patterns and all these different things. So I'll try my best, if, I can get into a little bit more in another time for you, and I'll try to help you out with that, okay, with whatever I can give you to assist you with that, Carol, okay? Because it's like from that individual level, and some things are just,
this is knowledge
that we need to have. Yeah, but it's something going on there, and your rhythmic clock, your watchers are not functioning on those levels of the time that the energy is in a different organ, because it's constantly moving, but it's either maximum, minimal. When it's in those areas, you need to let it do its job. But we can help it with our conscious level. So it's a lot of work. We have to be re-educated on this system, on this machine that God made perfectly. He who knows himself knows his Lord. Study what God put here for us. But we on our own system, because America, if you go to other countries, right, they don't put clocks sometime in your bedroom. They do at times because they know, well, the person probably needs to, wake up at a certain time. But when I went to, the islands, a lot of times they just y'all need to rest. Like America goes by a clock, a time system. And a lot of times it's not even correct because we're just programmed that way. We just really, really program. Reprogram your programmer. And your body is your computer. It's your processor. It does so much for us. Well, we have to re-educate ourselves on it. It's a wonderful machinery, but, we're off-kilter because America is, my goodness, they are
You're absolutely right, yeah.
They're taking us off course. We're not on, this. But, many of them, they know, the ones who are aware, they don't give their children the food and the vaccine and all that we're taking, and they'll protect their family, but they're going to give it to you. They're going to prescribe it for you. So we have to be our own watchers. We have to be our own military. Okay? And pardon me, honey, I didn't want to talk anymore. Okay.
No, I thank you. I thank you for that. And everyone who listens in, I'm sure will be appreciating the information that's being shared. And that's what this is all about. Networking and sharing information, valuable information. Again, you may be hearing it and it may not pertain to you, but you can share this with others. You'll overhear a conversation, and this conversation will come to your mind. That's how life happens. What comes to us for a reason, just like our dreams. Thank you, Navia. Thank you. So I want to know, you're welcome. Is there anyone else who would like to share a health tip or a revelation in their health that helped them to see a better path of living? Okay. You can come in at any point in time while we're still on. I'm just going to move forward. I'm screen sharing for those who are on the app, and I want to go into wealth building alternatively. I believe that I am placed where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. And my first talk was on Spiritually You, and I do believe that it's in my front pocket, my side pocket. I wear it as a hat. It stays first and foremost, and I don't challenge it. So yesterday I met a family, and I passed them. I was at a restaurant, and I passed them, but I was kind of like assessing the area because I was leaving all of my pocketbook and everything all by itself. So I wanted to see who can I see, so I make sure I see them when I return. When I came back, the gentleman stood up, introduced himself to me, and I thought, no, he didn't. He spoke to me. When I passed him initially, he said I smiled, and I looked just like his mother, like his mother. And so when I was passing him to go back to my seat, that's when he stopped me. And we talked for about 20 minutes. It was he and his daughter. And I spoke about the different things that I do, but especially insurance. And he said I was God sent because he's 63 and he doesn't have insurance for him or his wife. He said, but the way you explained it to me made all the difference because it made sense. Life insurance is not about death. It will help with the final arrangements, but life insurance is about life. It's about life and building wealth. Did you know? So, you have two types of policies. You have basic policies. You have term policies, which are great. They're for a specific time to handle a specific item. And if that item is already handled within that time period, and unfortunately the insured passes, then all of that goes to the family. But keep in mind that whatever you leave to your family, you want to leave direction. And you want to leave those directions through education and empowerment. We don't want people to get lump sums as we used to see with lottery winners and be broke a year later. We don't want that to happen if we can help it and if we know better. And it's not about nobody else's business. All of this, we are all everybody's business. We are all everyone's business because you have no idea who you or your family or your grandchildren are going to come in contact with in this life. When we think it like that, we will be mindful of what we share and what we do and how we do it, because it all comes full circle eventually. Term insurance is for a specific term. It is lower premium for higher face value because it's a limited temporary instrument. But you can have change. I encourage people who own homes, who are seniors, who are struggling, to do reverse mortgages. And I encourage them to get a term policy that will cover whatever monies they may have taken out, so that when they pass, their family members can use that term policy to get the house back, if they want it, to get the house back from the bank that produced the reverse mortgage. That's valuable. You have seniors who refinance to help children and grandchildren, but now the senior is paying the bill. And they're not living happily ever after, as we were told we should be doing. So the reverse mortgage is a way to help relieve yourself of debt. It's a way to bring you financial wellness, really. And as a senior, you never have to pay it back. You never have to pay a mortgage again, but you do have to pay your own taxes at that point. There are two things that are happening, and especially with our seniors. For 30 years, you were accustomed to paying one bill. That was your mortgage. Once your mortgage is satisfied, you are responsible to pay those taxes. Through the time that the mortgage company is paying the bill, the one bill, you were still getting the tax bill, but it was covered in your mortgage. Once that mortgage is satisfied, you must continue paying your taxes now yourself. Within the city of New York during COVID, there were over 3,500 houses awaiting tax lien sale, mostly owned by seniors. I was downtown Brooklyn watching people come in with checks for $15,000. That could only be happening because they don't realize, and they were dressed well. So I'm going to believe they were, and I say dressed well because, I believe they were retired. They just did not realize it was their responsibility to now pay their taxes. They didn't realize it. So we don't want people to fall short due to lack of knowledge. If you have seniors in your life, they own homes, they're struggling financially, two things: reverse mortgage, because let's say this, if you have a senior struggling financially and they have family members, they shouldn't be struggling financially, not if they have family members. But for the most part, they may not know that all the money they put into that property, that equity, it's theirs. It's like a savings. It's a passive saving. Reverse mortgage, pull out whatever you need to clear your debt and have that change to cruise twice a year, to vacation, to do whatever it is you want to do. Because I say we are the – go ahead.
Can I share something real quick? This has just been my experience in the past, let's say 7 years. People, I work with the elderly. I have a senior ministry, and I've worked with the elderly for a long time, volunteer work. And from what I see, when they pass, their family members are more interested in how much money I get, not how I can help, not how I can, she has this mortgage, let's see how much money we can get out of it. And it really sickens me because this is your parent, your grandparent, et cetera, and you're more worried about what money you can get when they die than how can I help, and because we had this conversation in my church about reverse mortgages and death benefits. And those are the questions that people were asking about. You know, what's for me? What's for me? What's for me? It's not like, how can I make sure she's okay in her old age? You know, so I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you for your ministry. Thank you. This is Adrienne?
Yes.
Hi, yes. So seniors and children are my passion group, not because I was one and I will become one, but because I feel that they are two groups that are misunderstood and mistreated in a sense that people feel that they don't know. Children, you don't know enough. You're not old enough. Seniors, you used to know, but you don't know. Things have changed. No, absolutely wrong. Thank you for your ministry. I'm available to help you virtually. I don't know where you're located, so virtually or in person if you're in the New York area. But it's important with whole life insurance, which works like the equity in a home. We've had the one thing they sold us when we were working was life insurance. People have whole life policies that they've had for 20, 30 years that have cash value in it. Cash value. First is what you should be using to clear your debt before retirement. You take out a loan. You never have to pay it back. It will come off of the face value when you pass. But who better to use your money than you who have deposited into that instrument over the years? The loan value in a whole life policy can be used instead of equity, okay? Never have to be paid back. When you get policies now, I say if you have grandchildren, the younger they are, the lower the premium. If you're retired and you have annuities that you purchased during your work years, I mean, right now your monthly income is really good. You're good. You're not struggling at all. Then consider using some of that annuity money to get single pay annuities for your grandchildren or a young person that you care about who's at least 18 years old. And what is a single pay annuity? It is a policy that you pay one time, a lump sum, and guarantee a monthly income for the rest of a person's life once they reach retirement age. Why would you do that for somebody else? Because unfortunately, but fortunately, our time clocks are reaching their end. And if your monthly income allows you to live the life you want to live plus some, those annuities that you have holding and earning, you're never going to spend it yourself. Not all of it anyway. You're never going to spend it yourself. So why not do what others do and start building wealth for the next generation? Start building retirement for the not relying on a job for 25 or 30 years, maybe, right, but start putting in place for younger people with education and knowledge. You're educating them on the same level so that you know, we have this thing, rest in peace, quote unquote. I say you have to live in peace. That's called practice in order to rest in peace, okay? You have to practice living in peace, but you could definitely rest in peace knowing that you set up people you care about in a certain kind of way, because money isn't everything. So we talked about health. Health is very important. Health and wealth. Money isn't everything, but it can definitely get you the things that you need first, and then the things that you want, which is okay too, right? Mm-hmm. So I know, like you all know, that people can take your last name and make it bad. When it came to reverse mortgages back in the 80s, horrible things were going on with horrible people. People's property was being taken from them. And as you said, Adrienne, you have people who are sitting around waiting for the death, hoping to get the brownstone. And they get shocked when they realize the brownstone is still tied up in a loan. Well, you're not supposed to be shocked at that information if you were actively involved in that senior's life.
That person's life, right.
You understand? No one should be able to come in and sell anything to someone that you're connected and working with and loving without you getting a phone call, without you knowing this has happened. So we have to stop, if we can, keeping everything a secret. You know, it's my business. I don't want nobody to know my business. Your business is everybody's business. Because if something should happen to you short of death, if you should just become incapacitated. I search out nursing homes. When I move around, I go to different nursing homes to see what they're like, and I interview the people. Just in case I end up in a nursing home temporarily, I want to be able to go to the right one. You know, so I'm like shopping just in case. I'm a just in case person. So just in case, you know, just identifying nursing homes or facilities, but you just want to start knowing people's business, and you want to start helping people to know your business and your choices and your decisions. I even encourage people to go make your arrangements at the funeral home so that no one takes advantage of the emotions of your family during that time, because it's emotional. Even if a person is sick, it's emotional when people pass. So go make your own arrangements. Keep it as simple as possible.
Excuse me. People think I'm strange because that's what I keep saying. I went to a funeral last year, my cousin's funeral. It was a beautiful funeral, which sounds kind of like an oxymoron. And then I realized they said she did it. She put her funeral together. She decided who was going to speak, who was going to preside over it, who's going to say this, who's going to get up and say this. And she said she put it all together because she had cancer, so she knew she was dying. And she said they knew who the speaker was. She did the whole program herself. And I said, I'm going to do that. I want to do that for my funeral. I want to put everything together. My pastor, she did that before she passed. She said she had to change it 5 times because people kept dying on her. But she just made all the decisions, what songs are going to be sang, who sang, you know. And I said, and I haven't done it yet, but I said after that funeral, I said, I'm going to do that. Because there's not going to be any arguing, fighting, or who's going to say what. Everybody's going to know their role in the funeral.
That is exactly correct, and that is not wishing but knowing. You know, we know we are going to pass. I wrote my obituary in the 90s. I guess it's time for me to update it because I did a few more things since then. But, and I was selling something in it. Okay, so I was. So let's go back to business. So let me tell you some of the things that I've done, and we are running through time. So in my life, since I was a child, I have sold just about everything, from Avon to Tupperware to personal preference art, prepaid legal, AmeriPlan, insurance, timeshares, even ideas and concepts, my book, telephone services, travel, business ventures, you know, a little bit of everything since I was a child. Okay, how many years ago was that? Let's see. So I say over the last 45 years, I've been involved in businesses. But if you listen to that quick run-through, it was something that had value. I touch no business that does not have value. I want to give you what I call my thank you gift. It's the Networking for Success Power Card Network. If you have a business, I invite you to come on board and put your business on it. I'm screen sharing right now for those who can see it, but I have several different businesses on there. They do not all belong to me. And when I say belong to me, I'm not a part of all of them, but I will share people's information because Networking for Success is the name of my business and it is my purpose. So the link I can give you is nfspcn.com, nfspcn.com, which stands for Networking for Success Power Card Network, Networking for Success Power Card Network.com, nfspcn.com. On this site, we have a company that I call the Costco's and BJ's of the healthcare industry, and that is AmeriPlan. I've known AmeriPlan since 1992. AmeriPlan is a membership. It is not insurance, but it gives you 100% full control of your healthcare decisions with your medical provider. Is that important?
Yes.
100% full control of your
yes,
health
I was
care.
a member of that. Yeah, I was selling AmeriPlan too. I'm going to look it back into it again. Oh my goodness, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes.
Well,
Wow.
is this Adrian again?
No, it's Nadia.
Oh, Nabia. Oh, clearer. Okay, Nabia. So if you're able to go on the website, you can go on the website and you know what you need to do and how you need to do it. So because it's network marketing business. So what I'm saying to her is go on my website, click on it. If you're going to come on board with my team. I am not a business builder. I am a product and service offerer. If people join my businesses that I'm in, fine. It's good, but I don't want you to join it doing me a favor. I never do me a favor business, and I never advise do me a favor business. Only because you see the product worthy and valuable either to you, which makes it good because then it becomes a tax incentive, but definitely to you and others. So there's AmeriPlan on that site. Live Good. I didn't put Live Good on yet. Oh, it is on there. So if you look at my podcast on that website, if you look in the podcast, I do have the link for Live Good as well. And Live Good is the one that has the reds and the green powders. It has the coffee. It's an organic coffee of mushrooms. Oh, yeah, I forgot Organo Gold. I sold coffee too. But it has the mushroom. Yes, it has the mushroom coffee that's supposed to be extremely wonderful. And, again, I read the label. Say it again?
Yeah. Yes. Great. Yeah.
Yes. The mushrooms, right? Yeah. Shaga Rishi. The mushrooms are excellent. Well, you know what? As Nan and Leon and Nabia, as we all talk about, back to nature, that's what we are. The sooner we can get our bodies back in balance with nature, the sooner we'll feel good about what we're doing. And my grandson says, Grandma, is it really organic? How do you know? I said, I don't. I know what I'm reading. No, I don't. I wasn't there. But I do know what I'm reading, and I do know I'm making a conscious choice based on what I'm reading. And if they have mislabeled, I told him, they will have to answer to that. I don't carry anybody else's burden. They will have to answer to that. Now, we were shopping, and I was trying to get him to get something that was organic. So after I said that, he said, okay, I'll take one. Okay, good. You know, we have to talk to the young people. When they ask us questions, we have to take a deep breath and deliberately give them good, honest, truthful answers that they will understand, because they're little people. You know, they're younger than us, but they're little people, and they're our future. You know, so we have Gold. We have AmeriPlan. We have Live Good, which, again, you'll see that in the post, in the podcast link. And then, how many? Okay. And I have 4 minutes. So we're moving through this. I have mentioned my book. My book is Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. It's a very good book on mental health, suicide awareness, prevention tools to help eliminate it. In the book, I offer so many services and products. Again, I give a whole list of medical tests that you can have for preventive purposes to find out what's going on in your body before you have a symptom. If you continue scrolling down, you're going to see V Endeavors. He is a graphic artist. He is a visual artist. He is excellent. He's a great illustrator. You can click on and go to his website. And so as you see on the NFSPCN, it's about sharing people, sharing services. I don't get paid on everything. I might get paid on some things, you know. We have Invite Health. Again, I'm an affiliate with Invite Health. So I'll say this. If you shop Invite Health and you know the products you need or want and you want to go to my website and link in, that's fine. I have no idea what they are. Yeah, it's like 2%, 4%, whatever it is. But I'm all about sharing information. If I get paid, that's secondary. My wealth is spiritual, and my wealth is holy. Right. But my car note doesn't do. But I'm just saying. You know, you got to keep all those things in perspective, right? 347-457-2769. 347-457-2769. That is my number. I am an income tax preparer. I am an excellent income tax preparer. And seniors, retired people, are missing so much money, especially if they live in New York, because they're not filing taxes after they retire. And many of them have taxes being withheld from their pension and Social Security, and they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it. If they live in New York City, there's a real estate tax credit as well as a school tax credit. Comfortably, it could be anywhere from $63 to maybe $400. They're leaving it on the table. Please, let's help people get their money. And one of my podcasts that you'll see on the site is on how to prepare for 2023 tax preparation. And it's for the taxpayer to receive valuable information on how to best be prepared. How to best be prepared. Life insurance, that's my business. Health insurance, that's my business. If you know anyone with a business, we offer business protection, which if they happen to lose the ability to open their doors, they can get paid. If they lose items, if they lose equipment, they can get paid, which is good. But definitely bringing in insurance into a business, into a nonprofit, into the church. We want to bring in education, and we want people to not be unaware. The gentleman I met yesterday, he said if only he knew the power of insurance. No one tells us. They teach us in school to be good employees. They're not teaching us business and the value of business. And if you know anyone who's in business and they do not call me about taxes and they do not watch the video on it, if you are self-employed, do not write off all of your income. Michael Jackson said, it's the man in the mirror. You are not hiding anything from the man, but that man in the mirror will have no Social Security if he keeps writing off all of his income with expenses so he doesn't owe the man. You are the man. Part of what you owe in self-employment taxes during tax return time goes into your Social Security and Medicare. So you can share that information. Wealth building strategies, we can go on forever, but I'm going to say for a fact, if you have we have old money. We're not Rockefellers, but we have old money if we have equity in our homes or if we have cash value in our life insurance policies. And guess what? The life insurance policy doesn't have to be on you. You just have to own it. So if you have whole life on your children for decades, on your grandchildren, whomever it is, if you need to clear debt to be financially free, that's the best way to go get it. The policy stays in place. You're just taking out a loan that you never have to pay back. We have we have no minutes. But I do want to open the floor to a few questions or comments, and then we can close it. Then okay.
Excellent information. Thank you.
Thank you. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you all. Thank everyone for being here. Thank everyone for coming on. We have shows coming up this evening. We have who's on next? Carol? So please, once again, visit and download. Go ahead.
At 5 o'clock this evening, we have Wednesday with What in the Cell. At 7 o'clock, we have Carl Wagner with Beat Cancer Answers. And at 8:30, we have Brother Bill, The Real American. It's time to wake up. And that's the lineup for the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. And I will get the lineup and be able to share that with everyone at the end of my segments at all times. I wish everyone a great day, a great everyday, healthy and wealthy with alternatives, and that is alternatives to what they teach us, what they show us, but it means what we know, instinctively, spiritually, what we know. This is Evadyne with Evadyne with Company, talk worth listening to, and I hope this talk was worth listening to. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.